Hey, this is Ben Johns, and you're watching This Week in Pickleball.
All right, welcome back to the Average Joe podcast show. This is Randall, the producer, coming to you live from the deepest, darkest corners of the internet. We are in the underbelly of the sports world. We have landed in Tampa Bay and the world of Pickleball-landia, and we are in the final day of competition at the 2021 Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam. This is the second stop of the professional tour for 2021. We've got our intrepid reporter, Cookie Kevin, on the scene. And the medal rounds, right?
Yeah.
So this would go somewhere, you would put those two things together somehow, these two documents. So stacking the show, so you and I would, come get on the Zoom call early, and we would just kind of recap what we wanted to cover. We'd talk through the bracket, we'd talk through the tournament, we'd talk through whatever storylines are out there, like Simone lost in the singles. So if we're at the next tournament, we'd say, okay, we really have to watch this Catherine Simone storyline, right? Because we want to develop that. What do we want to develop with Simone and Catherine? What type of storytelling did I tell you?
Well, we talked about, student becoming master, grasshopper idea, snatch the bubble from my hand. And it's interesting because I was watching Catherine's facial expressions today. And, she keeps looking at Simone. And when Simone would hit a winning shot, Simone was smiling and celebratory. And every winner that Simone hit, it was like a dagger in Catherine's heart. She's taking it. It isn't a bad thing. It isn't a good thing. It is. She's taking her ascendancy to the top personally, and it's very difficult.
Who is? Catherine is?
Catherine is.
And why did you notice that, or how did you come to notice that?
I'm just watching her facial expressions, and watching how she looks. She looks back at Simone. Simone's not looking at Catherine the way that Catherine's looking at Simone.
Okay, so what can we read into that?
Simone knows that she's the dominant, alpha female in this moment still. She's not ready to relinquish her crown or throne in any sense. And Catherine's just chomping away, and she's such a fighter. I mean, she's grinding and fighting, and she's an amazing player. And I agree with you. A parenthetical statement here. I agree with you that Catherine could be the next Simone Jardim, and that she'll dominate for a few years. But Simone's not going away, and she's not even thinking about relinquishing any of that podium space to Catherine or anyone else.
And so
because of that,
go ahead.
It's like little sister, big sister, like little brother, big brother. I have 3 older brothers, right? And I was constantly comparing myself to them, competing against them, and that grinding pressure that I put on myself to be able to hang with them athletically or, academically or whatever it was, or in the eyes of my parents, it didn't matter. In my own eyes, I was always fighting my way to the top of the hill. And it was a good thing because it drove me in ways to, keep fighting and not give up and, keep working hard. But a part of that also was really exhausting.
Why is that?
Because they're bigger, stronger, faster. And right now, Simone she's still in the zone. It's not like Catherine can knock her off because Simone's, starting to lose a step. And Catherine is ready to take that spot, and Simone's not even close to giving it up. And, age, of course, will catch up with Simone, but it's not right now. She's still able to, retain her spot. She's got Lucy Kovalova that's a wonderful partner for her. And Catherine Parenteau isn't jealous of Lucy Kovalova because Lucy's playing with Simone and winning the top podium spot. Catherine couldn't care less about what Lucy Kovalova's doing. She couldn't care less about the gold medal. She just wants to beat Simone so bad. and then once you start beating her, keep beating her. Once you get the boot on the neck, keep it there. Because right now the boot is on Catherine's neck, and it's, at least to me, as I'm watching, I can sense that relationship. Kind of like in a League of Their Own, where the big sister and the little sister is dynamic. One is just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for recognition, for everything that comes with winning. The gold medal, the podium space, the sponsorships, just the sense of satisfaction of having beaten her finally, which hasn't begun to happen, at least not yet.
And so,
once she does, you got to do it. And it's once she does it, she's got to keep doing it.
Right. And so in this dynamic or relationship, who's the one who's always been looking up to the other one? Who's the one who's always been, the teacher, right? So it's understandable why Catherine would look at that, and it's understandable why Simone would have her reaction, because even though she's competing against Simone, ultimately, what does she want from Simone?
Respect.
And her approval.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Yeah. They're both different, and I think they're both valid. But Catherine wants Simone's approval because, so they're really good friends, and I think I've told you this, but Catherine was, her student at Michigan State, but also something people don't know is that Simone's academy down in Florida, Simone made room. Let's just say it this way. Simone made room to bring Catherine in as a teacher down at her academy. Yeah.
So that tells you a lot about their relationship, and just that and I think that goes to the competitive fire of Simone, and just she doesn't care that Catherine's her student, but Catherine cares that Simone is her teacher and friend, I think. On the court.
I would agree with you.
On the court, right?
I would agree with you. Yeah.
What's the difference there?
It's like, Catherine's looking at the wrong thing, maybe.
How so?
She's distracted by that.
How so?
She's distracted by that a little bit.
Expand. How so?
How is she distracted by that?
Yeah. What makes you say that? And is there any examples you can point to on the court, or maybe you already have with the way she looks at her, right?
Well, I can also give you an example from the world of sprinting and in track and field. If you're looking to the side to see where your competition is, where are they in relation to you? Sometimes they run right past you because you're distracted by that. Just don't look to your right, don't look to your left kind of thing. Just stay in your lane and stay focused and keep your eye on the prize, not on whether or not you're staying ahead of your competition. Simone is not looking to her right or left at Catherine or anyone else. And Catherine is a little, I'm using the word distracted, but I'm just saying, if there's any thought in her mind during the match or any emotional weight that she's carrying, that this is the relationship she's in and she wants to ascend that, it just makes the climb that much steeper. It doesn't mean she won't be able to climb it. It's just steeper.
Do you think that Catherine, on some level, maybe a subconscious level, thinks that if she beats Simone and beats her and beats her and beats her like she probably can, I think she's ready to. If she can take that psychological step, I think she'll beat Simone, and Simone will never get back on the podium at the top of the podium. I don't think Simone will be knocked off the podium, but as soon as Catherine breaks through this, I don't think Simone will be back up there in the gold medal position. So do you think on some level she's holding herself back because she doesn't want to destroy her teacher, her mentor, her friend? Because I'll leave it right there. What do you think?
I'm gonna answer that question with what I saw just today. I think maybe previously, yes, I could say yes to that question. But after today, after I watched how they played in the kind of the, I don't want to use the word frustration because that's not the word, but the angst and the determination and the grit. I mean, she was looking at Simone like, oh, man, I cannot wait to take you down. And when I do, you're going down and you're staying down, bitch. You know? And so, I mean, I think at some point, maybe earlier, yeah, she was worried about, well, you know, if I get to the top and if I ascend to the top, how's Simone going to be affected by that? But I think today, if I, you know, if I was accurate in my observation, I think today might have been a turning point for Catherine.
Why is that? When did they meet in the winners bracket final? Because I haven't seen any coverage today, and I don't know anything. So, go ahead. Well,
let me, you know, because I had to, while we've been on the phone, I had my computer up on the website for the, you know, the pickleballtournaments.com.
Yeah.
And I had to shut everything down because it was frozen, so I have to pull it back up again. But they did meet earlier. Let's see if I have this written down already. Let's see, hold on.
While you're looking that up, I'll give you some time here. While you're looking that up, the other storyline that we're going to be looking at that we're not going to touch a lot on right now is the Lucy Kovalova storyline, and why is she not playing singles? Did Lucy didn't play singles again, did she?
I don't believe Lucy played singles.
Right. So I
don't know that for sure. I may be wrong.
So as far as I remember, she played singles last year, but I have to double check that because I wasn't to my recollection, the last time I remember Lucy playing singles was 2019 at Indian Wells, where she faced Simone, and she was up like a bushel, a boatload, a bundle of points in the first game, and she should have closed the first game out, and guess what happened? She crumbled. And then guess what happened in the second game? She didn't even get a sniff in the gold medal match.
Yeah.
In the gold medal match. I mean, it wasn't even, I think it was 0. I think she was scoreless. I'd have to go back and double check. But whether it was one
earlier, yeah. But to answer your question, I pulled the bracket back up again. Yes, Smith and Parenteau had lost to Jardim Kovalova 11-1, 11-2 earlier in the day.
Really? What round? Was that the winners? That had to be the winners bracket final, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
It was in round 4.
And is that the quarters or the semis? That must have been the semis then of the winners bracket.
I mean, I'm trying to do the math quickly in my head. And I'm also, you know, not super proficient at looking at brackets. So give me a second. So it would be the final. Oh, it must have been the semifinals.
Yeah, of the winners bracket.
Is the semifinal considered the winners bracket final?
No, the semifinals is the semifinals of the winners bracket. It would be I'd have to look at the thing.
But if you lose in the semifinal in the winners bracket, you go to the losers bracket still, right?
Yeah, you drop down and you play the. Yeah.
So it would have been in the winners bracket final.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Smith and Parenteau had beaten Waters and Waters.
Now that's a big story too. So you might not know this, but Waters and Waters, the mother-daughter team, they were the last doubles women's champions at Nationals in 2019. And they beat
They took a year off.
They took a year off for COVID stuff, and they didn't even compete in last year's partial restart, in the restart of the partial season. So I think they're trying to work their way back into competitive form, but just be aware that they won everything when the daughter was 13, and they beat.
Yeah, she's only 14 now.
Right. So she was 12 or
she might be
12 or 13, and they beat Catherine and another girl I don't know if you know yet, Jessie Irvine.
Well, Jessie Irvine, is it Irvine or Irvine or Irvine? I mean, how does she pronounce it?
I don't know. I just put I put the I over alliterate a little bit, so just so that I'm.
So let's say it's Irvine or Irvine. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Jessie Irvine and Irina Tereshchenko lost to Waters and Waters 11-8, 11-7 in the second round.
Wow.
And then they met each other again in the losers bracket final in an epic 18-16 match. It was an unbelievable match.
Did you watch it?
I did.
What did you think? Like, how talk me through it. What do you remember from it? Like, how did it start?
How did it start was that Irvine and Tereshchenko jumped out to a huge lead. Matter of fact, I tweeted that. And
okay, so go ahead and
it was something like 12-5 or something like that.
So go ahead and follow at kevincookie.002 on Twitter. For those of you who aren't following him, go ahead and follow him. We're going to retweet him, so if you follow us, then you'll see him on there. So give him a follow and retweet his stuff as well. He's done a lot of work. He's done a lot of hard work today to bring you guys this great coverage, and go ahead and reward him for that. So keep going. At cookiekevin.002. At cookiekevin.002.
So one of my tweets indicated I took a photo of the screen of my TV because I was actually watching the match, and I tweeted the photo. Now they were at the moment the Waters and Waters were down 12-7 in the match. I mean, they were getting beat down. But it was an amazing match. I mean,
this is the game. This is the game to 15, right?
This is the game to 15. Exactly right.
Okay.
And so they were down 12-5. I think, I think it was 12-5, or maybe even I think it was 12-5. So anyway, when I took the photo and posted it, the photo shows 12-7. But through their their defensive skills are unbelievable. Those two, the Waters, Leigh and Leigh Waters. So they came back to tie it and had match point twice. They fought off like 5 match points and had match points, I think, twice on their own serve.
Hold on.
Ended up losing.
Hold on. Did they have match points against them or match points for them?
They fought off 5 match points against them, and they lost. They had match points against Irvine and Tereshchenko and lost. They ended up losing 18-16.
The Waters?
So Waters lost 18-16, but they were down. They were way down. Like I said, the photo that I tweeted shows 12-7 in a game to 15.
So let's talk about that for a second. So Waters knocked out Tereshchenko Irvine in the winners bracket. They come back, they meet each other, and they lose in
round 3.
Round 2. Round 2. And then they come back and meet each other in the losers bracket, and Tereshchenko Irvine knocked them out of the tournament.
Correct.
So what do you think about that? I mean, that's high drama right there.
That's why I think that's why that match was so amazing. I mean, obviously the Irvine and Tereshchenko were fighting for their lives.
Right.
And they had been beaten 11-8, 11-7 earlier in the day. And so, I mean, but the comeback on the part of the Waters, they were, it looked like they were going to be just thumped. And here they come, just patiently, working their strategy, but defending was unbelievable. And the exchanges at the kitchen were high powered. I mean, they were just firing rockets at each other, just piss missiles. Excuse my language, but it was. I mean, they were just firing at it, and the defense on both sides was unbelievable. And it just inches. Just the difference was just microscopic. But the fight fight that the Waters had to come back to tie the match and to even get to match point on their serve. I mean, they like I said, they fought off match point against them, I think 5 times. But when they had match point, they just couldn't break through. They couldn't get that match point to move on. And like I said, the match ended 18-16. It was a fun match to watch.
And just to give people perspective, what's your sports history background, like you're viewing, just really briefly? Like, you watched all the major sports, you've watched major boxing matches, you've watched what, football, baseball, and NBA, what?
Yeah, football, baseball. I had season tickets to the Los Angeles Lakers for years back in the day when they were still affordable. Wait. That's a nugget. There was a time when Lakers tickets were affordable? Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah, we had good seats.
Where was this?
My business partner and I.
Where was this, in Minneapolis?
Right after George Mikan and the glasses, from Minneapolis landed in L.A. No, this was during the Magic Johnson.
What? You watched the Showtime era?
I was there for Showtime. Had season tickets for 3 years, and the total season cost us $1,500
per person.
For the season, 2 seats.
Where were your seats? Up next to the popcorn vendor?
Not even. They were on the curve, just outside of the real expensive seats.
Oh, come on! Do you have any pictures?
We're talking the fabulous forum here.
Do you have any photographic evidence of this?
No, I do not. So 1980. Let's see. This was in 1988. 1988 Lakers, Detroit Pistons finals, NBA finals. Game 7 was at the Fabulous Forum, and my business partner and I, Ross Barron, and I are walking up the steps to the Fabulous Forum to go to Game 7 to go watch the game. And a person stepped up to us and offered us $750 a seat, so a total of $1,500, and that paid for our season. And so we took the money and then went across the street and watched it in a sports bar.
I can't believe you don't even know how jealous we are at thisweekinpickleball.com that you watched the Showtime era live. And where was Jack Nicholson from your vantage point? Was he to your right, to your left, straight across? Could you see him?
He would have been kitty corner, so like diagonally across the court from where I was sitting.
And where was the famous Chick Hearn? Because he was probably still kicking.
Chicky Baby used to complain about how high above the court he had to sit.
Oh, yeah.
Chicky Baby's seats that loft was across the other way. So Chicky Baby and Jack Nicholson were on the same side of the court. So Chicky was left diagonally, but kind of slightly diagonally. Chicky's Baby seats were right at half court. Nicholson's seats were down a ways from mid court, from half court. We were at the corner. Let's say our seats were. If you were looking at the basketball court, we weren't right at the out of bounds. At the baseline. That's not called the baseline. I'm forgetting my verbiage here. So our seats were. If you're looking at the court, we weren't looking directly at the court. We were looking diagonally across the court. So we were in the Fabulous Forum. There was you're at the curve. So our seats were at the curve at about 30 rows up. They were good seats. They were really good seats.
And could you?
And I was there in the game where Ralph Sampson, playing for I think it was the Houston Rockets at the time, if I remember correctly. The famous volleyball tip ball shot where there was like 0.8 seconds left to go in the game. Lakers were up by a point, and inbound pass comes to Ralph Sampson, and literally all he does was hit a volleyball setter's shot. He literally just volleyballed it into the net to win. Broke my heart.
And for those who aren't aware, Chick Hearn is a legendary broadcaster, play-by-play, who's come up with more original play-by-play lines. then Heinz has cookies.
Heinz has cookies. Yeah, Steve Baby made up like put him in the popcorn machine. Make the guy flinch or jump. You fake your jump shot, and then you wait. The guy goes flying in the air, and then as he's coming down, you go up and you bury the shot, and you get the N1 as you make contact with his moving body. Put him in the popcorn machine. The butter's hard. This game is over. The butter's hard. Everything's chilling in the refrigerator. Shut the door. This game is over.
Well, we want to let you know we've got under 4 minutes here left on our time together with this show, with this wrap-up show. My point there is adrenaline, and you know what it's like to watch high drama at the highest levels. How did watching that match today between Waters and Tarasenko Irvine stand up to all the other sporting events and drama that you've seen? Were you on the edge of your seat like you would have been in some of these other ones?
I'm going to tell you. I even thought about this. The thought that occurred to my mind was, if anyone can watch this and not absolutely love every moment of this, then they don't have a heart and they don't understand sports. Because it was as good as anything I've seen. Now
this is doubles. This is women's doubles. It's not singles. It's not men's.
Wait a minute! Don't. Hold on a second. Don't steal my thunder. This is women's doubles pickleball. No one's even covering this stuff.
So were you?
This is being played out in obscurity, in relative obscurity.
What's going to happen when this reaches the big time? I mean, is this okay? Hold on. So with all of that, is pickleball capable of becoming a spectator sport?
Well, there's no question. I mean, interestingly enough, the sideline reporter for this ESPN3 coverage was Hannah Johns, who was the sister of Ben and Collins Johns, who were competing in men's double and who, uncharacteristically lost twice. And so we're bumped from the final. They actually ended up winning the bronze medal, but
90 seconds.
Their sister Hannah Johns, as the sideline reporter and courtside reporter for these matches, interviewed Rick Barry, harkening back to the NBA. They interviewed Rick Barry, and Rick Barry, who was a legit NBA star, played for, I believe it was Golden State Warriors, I believe.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yep.
And made famous the underhand granny shot free throw. And Hannah Johns kept asking, and deftly asked, I thought it was a good question, how was shooting that underhand free throw, how did that translate into pickleball? And Rick Barry definitely picked up on that question and said, well, it certainly helps in playing in the kitchen, but I don't play that game. I'm just learning how to do that. So you have one of the greatest NBA stars of all time saying how much he loves pickleball, how much he loves watching pickleball, and how he goes out of his way to play, to watch, and be involved in pickleball. So much so that he even mentioned a marketing effort that him and his business partners are going to start. He kind of planted a little seed. Apparently, he's wearing gear from something called Mediciplan or something like that. It looks like a CBD type product.
Let's hold it. Let's hold it right there. We'll tease that. We'll come back with that. And just real quick, who won the gold, silver, and bronze in the men's? You've got less than 10 seconds.
Gold was Steve Deacon and Matt Wright. Silver was Adam Stone and Declan Barr. And the bronze medal went to the Johns brothers.
Stay tuned. We'll have more updates coming throughout the day. You've been listening to special coverage of the 2021 Simone Jardim Florida Grand Slam. We'll be back with more after this on thisweekinpickleball.com. Like, subscribe, and share like your life depended on it. Go Pickleball!
You ready for this? You ready for this? You ready for this?